based on real events, begins in 1964. Young spouses Ed, having just started studying paranormal phenomena, talk to a woman named Victoria. When Victoria of her hanged father, the owner of the antique shop, sensed the presence of an evil entity lurking among the ancient objects. Being a medium, pregnant Lorraine inspects the shop. Her attention is drawn to an old mirror, framed with 3 cherubim. Holy mirror of mine, tell me, she thinks before touching it. The surface of the amalgam cracks, giving the medium a creepy vision, including her baby. From what Lorraine sees, fights begin. Ed hurriedly takes his wife to the hospital, drenched from the rain. At the clinic, the situation worsens when the power goes out, but the midwife still gives birth. But they went through complications. The uterus wrapped around the baby's neck, from which he was born dead. Taking the baby in her arms, Lorraine prays, and a miracle happens. The girl suddenly begins to breathe. Warren and Rusty have a daughter named Judy, and can't get enough of her. This goes on for 22 years. In 1986, the story is transferred to the city of West Pittston, Pennsylvania, to the Smurl family. The midwife's daughter, Heather, has a date for a confirmation ceremony, which the whole family joyfully celebrates, even recording it on a video camera in the church. In the evening, after dinner, the old man gives Heather the very cursed mirror with a crack, which remained after Lorraine. Although the girl doesn't like the gift, and the dog barks at it, she pretends to be delighted. After that, the candle on the holiday cake goes out by itself, and a lamp falls from the ceiling, cutting the victim's forehead with shards. Meanwhile, Warrens give lectures on the paranormal phenomena to students, who openly comfort them. After dinner with Judy, it turns out that they no longer go out to study each case because of problems with Ed's heart. The doctor told him directly that he wouldn't be able to take another stroke. Suddenly, the daughter begins to mutter a children's poem, which her mother taught her to calm down and drive away bad thoughts. Lorraine supports Judy, taking her by the hand, but she suddenly sees a demonic paw on her daughter's shoulder. Janet Smurl, doing her homework, goes down to the wash basin. There she sees a sinister silhouette of a man in the dark, who, when the light is on, turns out to be a portrait hanging on the wall. Later, while cooking dinner in the kitchen and chatting on the phone, she feels as if someone from the dark storeroom is pulling the tube by the cord. But no one was found in the cage when the light was on. At the same time, one of the twins' younger daughters is looking for her doll. She crawled into the next room, where she suddenly rises into the air. She is held by a creepy old woman with a terrible smile and a gray face. However, no one from the family believes the girl after dinner. Nevertheless, later, Heather and Dawn's older sister decide to get rid of the creepy mirror. Taking him down the stairs, they leave a gift on the trash can. In the morning, the garbage men pick up the thrown-out mirror with the packages, which presses against the inside of the truck's body. At this moment, Dawn begins to tear, including with blood, at breakfast. Ed Warren celebrates his birthday. Judy brings her boyfriend Tony to the event, who is very interested in the investigative activity of her parents. He is even interested in whether the guests have seen those rites of exorcism. The girl, meanwhile, visits her old children's room. Suddenly, the room is shrouded in darkness, and the devilish Annabelle doll is reflected in the mirror. She is clearly dissatisfied that Judy has become a favorite of the audience, despite the fact that Annabelle herself has 3 solos behind her back. But as soon as Judy reads the verse, her vision fades. After a friendly match in ping pong with Ed, Tony, taking advantage of the moment, tells him and Lorraine that he wants to make a proposal to their daughter. The woman is kind, and the man asks to wait a little longer. However, unexpectedly, Judy, who has returned, sees the ring and immediately agrees. The Smurl family decides what to do with the ghosts in the house. Don swears with his father, believing that he does not believe them. He himself has not yet felt the influence of the paranormal. However, at night, the man suddenly begins to levitate on the bed. A ghost sitting on it is reflected in the mirror. Heather reviews the recording with her confirmation. At the moment with the festive cake, she notices something suspicious and rewinds the film to pause. The girl sees that when the candle went out, a ghostly face appeared next to her for a moment. Then she notices 2 shining eyes above the TV, but it turns out to be a reflection of porcelain dishes. In the light of the headlights passing outside the cars, a man with an axe suddenly attacks Heather. The girl's exasperated cry wakes up her mother and interrupts her father's levitation. After that, it becomes stupid to doubt the supernatural. To find a way to solve the problem, the Smurls report what happened to the media and the church. The priests do not react as quickly as the journalists. Also, Father Gordon, a priest and a good friend of Cheetah Warren, who has worked with them more than once, comes to the cursed house. He arrived the day when an unknown force pushed grandmother down the stairs. The ambulance picks her up. Looking around the house, he realizes that there is a powerful evil spirit, after which he hurriedly goes to the bishop for help. At the fitting of the wedding dress, Judy, left in the fitting bottom exposed by mirrors, suddenly sees that some reflections do not repeat her movements. Then she feels that there is someone under the veil of the dress. Having decided that it was the seamstress, she calms down, but soon realizes that someone else is hiding under the fabric. A creepy old woman. When the light goes out, the girl reads a poem in panic, after which the incantation fades. But then she notices her reflection, which knocks from inside the mirror before breaking the glass and grabbing it by the neck. Only the appearance of the mother interrupts the vision. In the reception room, the bishop and Father Gordon are talking to the secretary to get an audience. Expecting a meeting, he is distracted by the blood from his nose, after which he notices that there is no secretary at the table. When he calls the phone, he answers, and Judy's voice advises the priest to retreat. The handle on the door of the office turns over, along with the engraved cross, after which the doors open, exposing the darkness. Suddenly, the darkness from which he is covered by the cross thickens. Then, he lights up right in the hand, burning it. Seeing the darkness, the priest leaves the reception room, and pulling out the cord of the handkerchief, he wraps it around his neck before running into the stairwell. When Tony helps Ed to fix the motorcycle, he shows him the storage of cursed and possessed things, collected together with his wife during the years of paranormal research, in gratitude. At this moment, they are told about the death of Father Gordon. After the funeral ceremony, Judy briefly lags behind the others to touch the coffin. In it, the heir to the mother's gift of a medium wakes up. The girl tries to find out from the deceased's colleague where he died. At home, Lorraine is waiting for a case more terrible than the otherworldly demons, the mountain of dirty dishes. Washing it away, she encounters a gap, the reason of which turns out to be a medallion with a photo of her daughter. Suddenly, the water in the sink turns into blood. It becomes so much that the liquid pours over the edge, flooding the kitchen floor. The departure of the woman saves her husband's visit, after which Tony calls the door with the news that Judy has left for Pennsylvania. Disturbed by a bad premonition, Lorraine and her husband and future son-in-law go to West Pittston, to the house of the Smurfs, around which, like vultures in anticipation of a sensation, the journalists crowd. The spouses find their daughter in the house. She came to help the owners, as the deceased Father Gordon wanted to do. Lorraine wants to take her daughter and leave, but she persuades her to shake the old woman, to save the unfortunate inhabitants from the tormenting of their spirits. Having given in to her persuasion, Ed takes out a travel bag with the Bible from the car, and Lorraine carefully inspects the house, including the lamp with the galloping horses. While she listens to the emanations flying in the room, Judy takes a picture of her mother. The girl realizes that she has never seen her parents at work. The medium goes down to the basement, where the spirits call her, where she sees the past. Once in this house lived a man who stabbed his wife and mother with an axe, and then killed himself. Lorraine tells her husband about it, but admits that the problem is not in him. Some strong demon awakened the spirits and pushes them to harm the current residents. Judy at this time climbs into the attic to look around. Usually, if people see ghosts, then the attic leaks. Under the roof, she finds a cursed mirror with hieroglyphs and a crack. Suddenly, a chalk rolls out from under it, on which the message is written on the walls, then the darkness thickens. In the wrong light of the flashlight, the girl notices Annabelle. The demonic doll begins to increase to indecent sizes, chasing Judy with the inviolability of Hagiwaji. There she is found by her parents, and the vision is interrupted. The ravens go up to the attic and see the notorious mirror from which their career once began. The spouses confess to Merlin that in 1964, they finished the investigation of the antique store, fleeing from the cursed mirror after childbirth. But now, they have gained experience, sweared, and are ready to curse any demon. They want to take the mirror, to which the demon is tied to their storage, since it will not be possible to destroy it, only to keep it in safe conditions. With each step, the knife becomes heavier. Suddenly, the belts are unbuttoned, releasing the canvas cover and exposing the amalgam. Looking into the reflection, Jack sees a ghost on the ceiling and falls from the hatch down. Unable to hold the load alone, Ed drops the mirror. Rama breaks the master to the young man. Outside, Tony goes home, but sees an old woman on the road. He turns and rams the fence with marbles. For more romance, it starts to rain, and electricity is turned off in the building. Clapping the open door, Lorraine sees in the room a nightgown with horses and a sobbing daughter. After the fall, she already felt bad, and now the demon has settled in her. The possessed Judy pushes her mother into the basement, after which a dog barks at her. The demon, like a real hellish creature, offends the dog, throwing it against the wall. He was lucky that John Wick had not yet been invented. The stepdaughter tries to reason with her daughter, but the demon inside her causes another attack. Leaving her father to collect scattered pills, the possessed girl goes further to the attic. At this time in the basement, Lorraine sees a ghost of a man with an axe, who sticks a gun in the head of his ghostly wife. Then he chases the medium, chasing her like an infernal Merlin Manson, only without music. From a fatal blow, Tony saves the woman, opening a spare hatch in the basement. Going up to the first floor, they drive Smurloff out into the street and go to the attic of the possessed Judy. At the top, they see that the girl is dangling in a loop, a favorite modus operandi of the mirror demon. The young man manages to shake Judy off. For the second time in his life, he brings her back from that world. Only Dean Winchester once allowed himself this. At this moment, the mirror rises in the air and begins to spin around its axis, like someone else's opinion on a well-known body. Then, frozen, the device tilts to one side and, breaking the railing, moves towards the exorcists. Ed tries to drive the demon away with a prayer from the Bible, but the book lights up right in his hands. Unconcerned, he stabs her in the reflection, but this only angers the demon. At this moment, Lorraine remembers how she comforted her daughter in her childhood, coming up with the same poem. It was worth reading the poem to women, how the infernal entity passes in front of the power of their love, and, breaking the windows with a shock wave, evaporates. In the morning, having swallowed the wounds of the family, the Ravens leave the house of Smurloff, taking the cursed artifact. Delivering it to the storage, Ed gives the keys to Tony. The young man has shown himself worthy, proving that he can continue their family business. Then the story is transferred to Tony and Judy's wedding, where even James Wan, the creator of the franchise,